Hello and welcome to another edition of Classroom Chronicle. I'm your host, Pete Braley, and today we are visiting our sister school in New Bedford. This is an all-girls school for grades 5 through 8 where they aim to educate and inspire young women. Our guest is the head of school, Sarah Herman. And Sarah, thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for visiting us.
You've been here, this place has been here 15 years and it's my first visit, so I have to apologize for taking so long for that. The school opened its doors in 2008, right?
Correct.
And you've been here since 2013.
Yes.
So evidently, because of the success, there was a need for an all-girls middle school. Can you address that, first of all? What is so special? What sets you apart?
Well, thanks for asking. Yes, so our sister school is designed in order to support the interests of a student who is eager to have a very special educational experience. We have a lot of hands-on learning. We have opportunities for voice and for choice in our curriculum that I think would be challenging in a different setting. But more than anything, we believe that an all-girls middle school option is a special opportunity because every child at our sister school, when a question is answered, it's a girl who has the opportunity to answer the question, has an opportunity to throw the ball, catch the ball. And so providing a space for students and families who are interested in this kind of an experience to build strength, to build self-confidence, to build skills, so that when they get to high school, they're truly confident and familiar with who they are as a person and what their skills are. That's the idea with our sister school, taking the students and getting them ready to catapult them forward into opportunities because they have had so many at-bats. And that's what an all-girls middle school can do for a child.
So in a regular setting, do you think that the girls are competing with the boys, sometimes not always able to step up and have their voice heard?
I think that the studies show that in middle school, girls tend to retreat.
Okay.
And so adolescence is a really opportune time for space, for growth, and for confidence building.
It is a, should I say, difficult time in a young child's life, but I think especially girls, because there's so much going on physically and emotionally, correct? Is that
correct?
I had, when my own children were in middle school, I remember going to a PTA meeting and the principal pointing out, if you think this is a crazy time, you're right, because they just have so much coming at them.
Yeah, absolutely. And so in this space where we have 18 students per class, so we start in 5th grade, grade 5, grade 6, grade 7, grade 8, that's up to 72 students in the school. That means we can give a lot of thoughtful care and attention to helping each student through the middle school years.
Is there a reason you start with 5th grade when in New Bedford middle school is 6th grade?
That's a good question. It's tricky because it does challenge the student and the family to make a shift from completing the traditional elementary school program in New Bedford. So they do have to change course in order to join us. But starting in 5th grade makes a lot of sense for us because as we're doing culture building and community building starting in 5th grade with children at that age, they're much more likely to welcome the different environment, I think, to buy into the systems and experiences that are available here. Also, it gives us 4 years to work with a student and really get them ready for high school.
Okay.
So I think that the younger ages can be maybe more flexible about having a different schooling experience.
Right. Tell me a little about yourself. Where are you from?
Well, I was born in New Hampshire and I grew up at a summer camp. And so I have a lot of passion for the outdoor learning and for the experiential learning. And so Yeah, and then I became an educator. My parents were educators because the summer camp where I grew up that they founded.
Okay.
It was called Interlochen back in the day.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, well, that was the music conservatory in Michigan.
That's why I've heard about it.
That's right. But so there was an intellectual property lawsuit, so we had to change our name, and we became Windsor Mountain, which is a summer camp that still exists. So I attended and worked at and ultimately ran the summer camp for many years with my family, and then went into formal education. I worked through Teach for America, studied school leadership, elementary education, have worked in public schools, charter schools, now an independent school,
Okay.
and an all-girls school.
What attracted you to come here?
Well, I thought that this was an incredible opportunity for me as an educator to be able to work with students who are coming from the public school setting, to be able to provide them with what I describe as a much more of a boutique experience, where it is really specialized and so able to provide such personalized, caring, loving education for students that I just think is so hard to do in a much larger school.
Right.
And so that the public school experience is really valuable, but the Our Sisters School experience is also valuable in a different way.
Okay. I understand it's a long day here. It's not your typical school day, right?
Well, it is a long day. It used to be longer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but we start at 8 in the morning, which feels pretty comfortable.
Okay.
And we go until either 4:15 or 5:15, so the students can stay for an hour at the end of the day of what we call evening study hall. It's supervised homework time, so they have access to their materials, access to technology, access to peers and adults who could help them. Sometimes we have tutors coming in. So that's the evening study hall time.
Okay.
But between 8 and 4:15, it's a regular school day for everybody. And in that time, we do programming that I think is an example of how Our Sisters School is outstanding. Not only do the students have access to art classes weekly, STEAM classes weekly, in the Creative Suite. They go into the Creative Suite 3 times a week. Each for 90 minutes.
What is the Creative Suite?
The Creative Suite is the STEAM lab, art lab, media lab. And so
Okay.
that's where and so it is an interdisciplinary program that allows the students to explore technology, art, and then also their traditional curricular studies can be further explored in the Creative Suite through this integrated concept.
I think we should point out that STEAM is what we used to call STEM, but you added arts.
That's
Am I
right. Science, technology, engineering, arts, and math.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's a big part of Our Sisters School, correct?
It is, yep, and very popular with the students. And the work that they do in the Creative Suite can be transformational for the students. I would say that the work that they do across the board here at Our Sisters School is transformational, but oftentimes we'll do work here at school, and then we'll carry the work into the community, doing presentations, working in partnership with other New Bedford-based organizations. So the students will go to the Whaling Museum and study the history of women in whaling, so they can do place-based exploration of history and understand history from the perspective of New Bedford. And again, our school, Our Sisters School, is named in honor of women who went off in the whaling ships in the early 1800s. There were very few of them, but those women were called sister sailors. And so the school is called Our Sisters School in honor of the sister sailors.
And sailing is a big part
It is.
of this school, isn't it?
Yes, which makes a lot of sense for us because it's New Bedford-based sailing, maritime history. It's experiential education, outdoor education, leadership opportunities, outside time. It's in partnership with an existing New Bedford organization, Community Boating Center. It happens as part of the school day. So during that 8 to 4:15, for 2 hours, once a week, each student through the school year participates in what we call nautical and animal sciences. And so the nautical part is the sailing part. And so they learn to sail, they learn how to build a wooden sailboat. So they're using power tools, they're using hand tools. They are doing different construction projects and also some robotics projects through that. And then sometimes the animal part of the nautical and animal sciences is that we're right across the street from the Buttonwood Zoo.
Right.
And so we take advantage of the educational opportunities that are walking distance from our campus. And so another concept with Our Sisters School we call community as campus. And so that's the idea that our school is wonderful. Well, we think it's wonderful. And also it's just our school site, our school campus is only ever going to be so large. But if we see the community as our campus, then we can think of the zoo, of the Whaling Museum, of the Community Boating Center as part of our school, part of our community, part of our curriculum. So community as campus is the idea that we do a lot of field trips, but they're not field trips just in a simplistic sense, they're field trips in an integrated sense.
Okay. For those that don't know, the school is located right next to, or I guess attached to, Tifereth Israel Synagogue.
Yes.
Near the Buttonwood Park Zoo. And you mentioned this used to be the Hebrew school, this building. So you are a tenant
That's
of
right.
the
That's right.
of the synagogue.
Yes, a happy tenant,
Cool.
and we have a beautiful collaboration. I think we work really well together. They were pleased with the outdoor classroom that we built here at the school, and it was gracious of them to give us the freedom and flexibility to alter the campus in that way. And I think they're happy with the product.
I would think walking through the outdoor classroom to come in, I would think that kids must love going out there. Number one, is it kind of, decorated as recess, but you're going to learn something while you're at it?
I think that's a fair way to describe it.
Yeah.
It's very intentionally designed. And so we do have a teacher on site, and she's the director of our creative suite, Toby Eugenio, who I hope you'll have a chance to speak with later today. She has experience designing outdoor learning spaces. And
Okay.
so this was an intentionally designed outdoor learning space. And we built it before the COVID pandemic, which was convenient because there was a lot of grant writing involved with tearing up the existing parking lot and reconfiguring the space as a healthy and inspired outdoor classroom learning space. And so then we were a little bit ahead of the game because we needed, when COVID was in its
Fired up and
when COVID was happening,
influencing our
That's right.
lives.
We were able to more easily have instruction happening outside.
Okay. So the pandemic didn't really shut you down.
We closed only for those 3 months, March, April, May, June.
Right.
I guess that's 4 months. But outside of that, we were open. Well, the building was open.
Right.
All the following September, the kids were back in the building full-time, all students.
Nice. So is the outdoor classroom, we didn't really have much of a winter this year, but is it year-round?
It's year-round. It's a year-round space. And so our students, because we do sailing during in the fall and the spring, our students are much more familiar with just being outside in all kinds of weather.
Right.
And so we do have lunchtime outside, always as an option. When it's raining, people don't
Right.
choose to eat outside, but they might choose to venture outside and then venture back inside. So we try to embrace, with the outdoor classroom, we try to embrace the idea that being outside, as long as you're dressed for success, then it's a wonderful place to be.
So what are we going to see today? Are we going to see the typical classroom setup, or are things designed differently here?
I think the homerooms are set up as a typical classroom. Desks, whiteboard, projector, laptop computers. We have a one-to-one computer program at the school, so the kids are assigned a Chromebook in 5th grade and they use it for grades 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that's
nice.
somewhat traditional, although certainly very, very tech. It's not tech-centered, but it's tech-friendly. It's
Okay.
tech-aware. And so you would see that looks pretty traditional. But then once you get into the creative suite area, you might see the students working in different medium that might catch your attention, or certainly the outdoor classroom visually would catch your attention.
I've noticed, I don't know, maybe a change in education, that project-based learning is a huge thing now. Is that what goes on here also? Number of different projects, number of things to get roll up your sleeves and get into?
Project-based learning, I think, can be considered a technical term, or it could be considered like a more general idea. And I think project-based learning or hands-on learning or experiential education, depending again on how technical you want to get or how big picture you want to get.
I'm just saying that when I was in school many years ago, you read the book, you wrote a paper, you had a quiz.
Yeah, right.
Now you're doing stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I think the students really appreciate hands-on, engaging, different ways of responding to a prompt, different ways of demonstrating learning or understanding, different ways of grappling with material. And when our students get to high school, because they are introduced to lots of different medium, they're able to independently use technology, tools, arts, writing, in order to complete an assignment in a way that often catches a teacher's or classmate's attention, saying, how did you know how to do that? Well, I spent 4 years at our sister's school, becoming very familiar with using my voice and making choices about how I want to respond to a prompt or a question.
I was asking you before we started about some of the differences between this school and going to a public middle school. And you were saying that you don't offer sports teams, but I've noticed there are plenty of opportunities with clubs, right? So both athletic and also through the arts.
Yeah, so there's lots of opportunities for enrichment. And so it might happen, so we offer African dance, we offer music classes, we offer anything from knitting club to double dutch to stained glass club to, so it's very broad, cooking club. And then also our students will join the local league basketball teams, gymnastics, dance. So because our school is small, but our students' interests are varied, it makes more sense to connect them with community sports programs that are going to be more tailored. So one student can do softball and one student can do basketball and a different student can do gymnastics, rather than us having a soccer team or a basketball team that is the only thing we offer for everybody.
Right.
So we really prefer, again, for voice and for choice, and help kids make connections to league sports. And it's 11:30, so we got to go to community meeting.
All right.
All right.
Arabella and
Abby, Jade,
okay.
Amina.
Okay, so where are we? What is this class?
Right now we are in the art room, which is where all the history happens, and this whole school's history. So right now we are in a fashion unit right now.
Okay.
So this is our fashion unit, and this is where we start our own outfits with different body types and different clothing. And then over here we have 3D pens, which is like a 3D.
It's like a 3D printer.
But it's in a pen, and then you can go on paper, and then you can use different like films to have different colors.
Okay.
And then we have this fashion board ideas, and you can go through magazines and see some fashion that you would like, and then it could give you some ideas for your fashion on the artwork.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna show a 3D pen. So this is the 3D pen. I'm not gonna like turn it on, but it's because you can't.
Yeah.
So this is basically like you turn it on here. There's nothing in it, Bella.
Yeah.
And you like needed the heat at maximum, and then this is how you put the filament in. So the filament is like what the 3D object is.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then,
It's to make the color.
yeah.
You can change the filament too.
So this is you put it in this little hole, and then you press this button and the filament goes in. Then you can like draw and stuff. Then this button you take it out. You do not want to yank it because then that can mess it up and then it can break.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So we are what? Is this a studio?
Media lab.
Yeah, this is
Media
the media
lab.
lab. This is where Mr. Diaz works, which is also a teacher. That's where Miss Eugenia works. And he does his podcast, and he gets some students to do podcasts too.
Okay.
Then there's microphones and there's headphones. And then we have these robots where many people have made. And we don't know what grade has made it, but we know many grades. 7th is working on robots and having to move them. I don't want to touch them because it's art, and it's like it's where it gets to move, and it kind of like forms the tracks.
Goes down the streets
Yeah.
and yeah.
They're all programmed by computers, by the way.
Okay.
So like you plug your computer. These lines right here are where the robot is gonna like go,
Yep.
and you could like program it to go like, say I want to go up there and turn over there. You can program it to go anywhere.
All right. You had something you wanted to say?
Yeah, this is where the robot starts. Those ones start, and then this one is like a helicopter, and if you move that, it like goes flying.
Oh wow! It flies around the room.
Yeah, and that cabinet has all like our microphones and cameras and stuff. And that little box, the black box it says breakout edu, and it's like we have to solve stuff and like break out of the room.
Like an
Nice.
escape room.
Yeah.
And then we also have this green screen, is where we can edit things in background. So say if I sat here and Diaz wanted to videotape me, and he wanted to put like a New York background, this would help him to do that. Because there is an app where it like forms green things to make it like different colors. And that's what we worked on in STEAM a few units ago, right? Yeah. And
2 units.
and we did videos, and we made our own videos, and we used our creativity to do that.
Nice. So this is the STEAM lab.
Yes, this is the STEAM lab. And right now, us fifth graders are working on robots and having to make the robots like right. And we use motors. There's motors inside. And it vibrates, so it would make the cup like move, and then the marker would move with it.
Oh, cool.
And then we also have a dog.
What?
There's-
Yeah. Wait a minute. What do we got here?
So this is mine. It's not finished because
Seconds are available in the community room.
That just
Seconds
means
are available
kids
in
are
the
taking
community room.
second foods.
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, you have this, and then you need these two to attach because if they don't attach, then it wouldn't work.
Then they won't work.
So
Okay.
you're gonna take.
So those are called alligator clips.
yeah,
Yes.
these are alligator clips. You have the wire and then the battery motor.
They use big ones to start cars.
Right.
So if you can hear it,
It vibrates.
I shall attach this again because it fell off. So this little thing moves. If you can hear it and you can feel it, and it moves too.
We also have a 3D printer, just like the 3D pens we were talking about.
Yeah.
There is a big one, but right now it's covered. Probably close. So these are the filaments so it burns and melts. And once it melts, there's a layer in the programming. And then once you program it, it forms whatever you designed on Tinkercad.
Did you make those chess pieces?
No, those are 6th grade.
Yes, we did. This school did make the chess
So
pieces.
Nice.
these are
Yeah, the teacher made it.
okay. For D&D Club, we played Dungeons and Dragons, which is a game, and
Yep.
we have our characters.
And
These
they were
are
made
them.
with the printer.
Yeah, this is mine. This is Damien.
Okay.
Yes, named him Damien from Damien. Yeah. So mine broke, and I'm gonna like re-get it. So I'm gonna get it like back on Friday when we have clubs, and then I'll like take the parts off that need to be taken off.
This is, it's actually like more than one classroom for multiple people. This is for 6th grade, 5th grade, and band kids that are here
Okay.
every Tuesday and Monday. And it's also homeroom for 5th graders in the morning. So we use this for geography, humanities, clubs, and we use it for band and a lot of other things.
Super. All right.
Sometimes
And then we have, sorry to cut you off. We have a
This
pet.
is Peachy.
What is Peachy?
Peachy is a
bat-tailed
Peachy is a
gecko.
leopard gecko. I know my geckos.
which we are also not allowed to. No, we were not allowed to like kind of like play with it every single like time. Like you have to ask permission.
Right.
For like breaks, we get to take her home, and I took her home over February break, and she was a wonder.
Nice. So we are in the outdoor classroom now, and this is a part of every day, right? When the weather's good.
when the weather is every day, I would say. Every day we're in the outdoor classroom.
That's fantastic. Now, let me ask you a question about this. Is middle school for the girls, and then how do they transfer into high school and then higher education? Do you have a good success rate?
Thanks for asking. Yeah, this is middle school, and our students, all of them go on to high school. 100% graduate from high school. Some of them will go to local high schools, so New Bedford High Academy of Honors, Voc Tech is very popular, Stang, Dartmouth High, ORR, so there's a variety. And then there's also independent day schools and independent boarding schools that our students receive almost full scholarships to attend. So a huge variety and quite impressive school options. So that is the high school portion of it. And then for college, we have 90% of our graduates are applying to college, and of those 90%, 100 are being accepted to colleges, in many cases being offered really impressive scholarship opportunities. And the students who aren't taking the college path are often, for example, they may be going to Voc and then following a trade path. So we have a graduate who is now a welder, graduates who are doing all sorts of different trade work.
Super. I've spoken to teachers at New Bedford Voc Tech about how a lot of those industries are really looking for workers. I mean, they need them now.
Yeah, it's a fabulous opportunity, and it's a great match. We really try to think hard about what is going to how can we help a student identify their own interests and skills, goals, and then find a path that will lead them to a fulfilling, satisfying life that is also one where they can support themselves and a family if they choose.
Super. One thing we haven't touched on is this is a tuition-free school, right? So anybody can go here?
Yes, this is a tuition-free school. We do not receive, all of our funding comes from grants and private donations. And so we do not deplete the public system of their resources at all. And we are focused specifically on hosting students whose families qualify for public fuel assistance. So it is the purpose of the school to be meeting the needs of a low-income population.
Okay. Now, one thing that is convenient is that you have a couple of open house dates. If people are just seeing this and thinking, hey, that might be something for my daughter or granddaughter, tell me about those.
Yeah, thanks. So on Saturdays often, and they're specifically on our website, oursisterschool.org, you can find the upcoming open house date. So on a Saturday morning at 10 in the morning, most likely, again, check the calendar so you don't show up and not find anybody here. We would have an experience where you can come and learn more about the school, tour the building, hear about some basics. You can also check out the website and fill out a family or student interest form on the website and get the ball rolling that way. But we want to hear from you, and then we will guide you to sign up for or just drop in on an open house. But yeah, go to our website and get in touch with the school. We want to hear from you.
All right. Is there anything I forgot to ask you? Is there anything you really wanted to mention today that I haven't brought up?
Well, I think now it's always a good time to take an interest in the school. It's always a good time to explore opportunities for fourth grade girls who are looking for a fifth grade school option, who are willing to take a risk and try something new. And we understand that we start in fifth grade, and that the New Bedford local public elementary school goes through fifth grade. Right. And so there is a transition that needs to happen. But we feel like it's really worth it. Come and check it out and see if it's a good match for your family.
Now, you've been here since 2013, so have you noticed a girl who comes in here in the fifth grade, and when she leaves after the eighth grade, you notice a big difference?
I notice a tremendous difference. The growth is what keeps us fueled every day. It is truly inspiring to see what happens for a student in 4 years when they come to our sister school.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for visiting us.
That'll do it for this edition of Classroom Chronicle. Remember, if you have an idea of a school that we should highlight, or a class, or an individual student or teacher, you can let me know through my email address, and we'll try to make arrangements to come out there. All right? So until next time, for Classroom Chronicle, I'm Pete Braley. Take care.